How's it going, YouTube? Got FourthStarTCG here, and I am back with another Pokemon TCG online video. I know it's been a while since I did one of these. I won't get into all the reasons why it's taken me forever to post another video, but I will get into one, and that's that the standard format has been pretty boring for me. It's just, I feel like it's all either Garbodor or Decidueye Vileplume, or I've seen all the decks and it started to get boring. So I wanted to at least try to get into a different format on the TCG Online, and that's what this video today is going to be. We are going to be getting into the Legacy format, which is possibly one of the most fun formats out there. I absolutely love. I've played one deck on it, and I just absolutely love it. Yeah, so I'm trying my hardest to get some more cards for Legacy, and to be able to put out some more videos on the Legacy format for you guys, so definitely keep your eyes open for that. But the first Legacy deck we're going to be going over is possibly one of the easiest to build, maybe next to Ray Eels, and that is Empoleon Dusknoir. Now, Legacy, I believe the format is Heart Gold, Soul Silver base through Legendary Treasures. So we have all these, also we have basically two eras of cards to choose from, and it leads to some really fun deck ideas, stuff that really isn't viable and expanded. Works really well in Legacy, and it's just, there's some great decks out there. So today we're going to be taking a look at Empoleon Dusknoir. This is another very fun deck that you can play in Legacy. I try to bling out a lot of my decks. You'll notice I have not blinged out this one because blinging out Legacy decks is pretty ridiculously difficult. Yeah, so we know no full art N here, no full art Juniper, no secret rare Empoleon. Trading for 4 of those would have been, that would have been expensive. But let's get into the deck profile. We have a 4/2/4 Empoleon line. This is going to be our main attacker. Has a wonderful ability, Diving Draw. Once during our turn before we attack, we can discard a card from our hand, and if we do, we draw 2 cards. Pretty nice, especially once you've got a couple Empoleon set up. You can really draw through your deck quickly, get what you want. And then attack command for 1 energy, just 1 water energy, does 10 damage times the number of Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, and that counts active, so keep that in mind. It's whatever's on the bench plus the 2 that are in the active. So this is a very nice attack. We can do up to 120 if both of us have a full bench. It's not a high damage threshold by standard format accounts, but Legacy is a slower format. There's a Pokemon with lower HP. There's no Fighting Fury belt in the format, so you're not going to have to hit 200 damage to knock out 220 damage to knock out these big basics. So it's definitely it's a fantastic card in Legacy. Of course, the 4/2/4 line, and to pair it up with it, we are playing a 2/1/2 line of Of course, I take the Dusknoir out, but we are playing the Boundaries Cross Dusknoir, 130 HP, ability Sinister Hand. As often as you like during your turn, you may move 1 damage counter from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is really nice because we never ever have to overextend. When you're doing these 70, 80 damage attacks, you're usually going to be 2-shotting things. So we can never overextend. We can move damage around. It's just incredibly useful. Once we've, especially when we have Hypnotoxic Laser, we can make sure that the math works out great and never waste any damage, which is really nice. Now, to pair up with our 2 main lines, we have a couple supporting cast here. 1 copy of Jirachi EX. For those who have been following the standard format for a while, you know what Jirachi does. Ability Stellar Guidance. It's basically Tapu Lele, but not as good. Only 90 HP, so it can be searched with Level Bulb, which is nice, but it can also be knocked out fairly easily. Stellar Guidance, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, search your deck for a supporter card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. This is really nice because there's no Shaman in this format, so searching for those supporter cards is great. We play 2 copies of the Plasma Freeze Execute. This is really what makes this deck work. I tried playing this with 1 copy, it just wasn't good. Execute is just so good. You can use propagation as much as you like during your turn, so you can use this ability multiple times. It's kind of confusing, but you can use basically the bottom line is you can use propagation as often as you like. It doesn't matter if it's once during your turn. You can use it anytime. So this is really nice, especially because we have so many cards that discard things from our hand, like Empoleon's Diving Draw. We play Computer Search, or well, we did play Computer Search until I threw it out of the deck. But yeah, so Computer Search, we'll take a look at what that does. We got Junk Arm, Ultra Ball, all these things that discard cards from our hand. Having 2 execute is just fantastic. You get those into the discard. It turns Computer Search into search your deck for a card. It turns Junk Arm, if you don't know what Junk Arm does, it's a ridiculously broken trainer card. It's Dowsing Machine, but it's not an A-spec, so you can play as many as you like. Discard 2 cards from our hand. It just turns into search our discard pile for a trainer card. Ultra Ball, search your deck for a Pokemon. Just like fantastic things happen when you have 2 execute in the discard pile. And last but not least, we have 1 copy of Smeargle. Smeargle has a Pokepower Portrait. Once during our turn, if Smeargle is our active Pokemon, we can look at our opponent's hand. If we do, we choose a supporter card and use it as the effect of this power. So you can use an extra supporter for your turn, and it's just fantastic. Really helps you get set up in the early game. So starting with a Smeargle, getting a Smeargle out early is wonderful. So now on to the trainer cards we have. We play 1 copy of Computer Search, our A-spec in the deck, discard 2 cards from our hand, search our deck for a card and put it into our hand. We basically grab anything from our deck with Computer Search. We play 3 copies of Hypnotoxic Laser. Active is poison. We flip a coin of heads. The active is now asleep. This is a amazing trainer card. I've seen some, and we play the Laser Bank version, so we play 2 copies of GlitchxCity Gym as well, which add 2 damage counters on poison Pokemon. So this adds just an extra 30 damage per turn on our opponent's active, and it's just wonderful. Especially with Dusknoir, we can move that around, and just adding that extra damage, especially when Empoleon isn't hitting for a ton of damage, can be wonderful. This is an essential part of this list. I really wouldn't play Empoleon Dusknoir without lasers and Verbank. 3 copies of Junk Arm, a very expensive trainer card, probably the best trainer card that's maybe ever been printed. Discard 2 cards from your hand, search your discard pile for a trainer card, show it to your opponent, and put it in your hand. And I say in the modern era, like energy removal, that was probably pretty ridiculous back in the day. 3 copies of Level Ball, search our deck for Pokemon with 90 HP or less. We all know what Level Ball does. 1 copy of Pokemon Catcher, no Lysander in this format, so Pokemon Catcher can be useful. One of the things you can do with this deck is bring up something with a heavy retreat cost, hit it, and then just move all the damage to a bench threat. It's not the main objective of this deck, so that's why we don't play more than 1, but it can be useful. 1 copy of Random Receiver, fairly nice for just grabbing a supporter card from our deck if we want to. We don't play a ton of supporters because our Diving Draw allows us to draw a lot of cards, but it's nice to have that Random Receiver there just if we really need one in the early game when our Empoleons aren't set up. 3 copies of Rare Candy. We got a bunch of Stage 2s, so we're playing some Rare Candies. 1 Super Rod, get back Pokemon and energy. 1 Switch, we don't play any Float Stone, so if something like a Jirachi gets stuck in the active, a Dusknoir gets catchered up, the Switch can be useful. 1 copy of Tool Scrapper, because we basically just lose to Garbodor. Garbodor, of course, is around in the old format, so this shuts off basically everything in our deck. Shuts off our Executes, shuts off our Dusknoir, shuts off our Diving Draw. Does not shut off our Portrait, because it's a Pokepower, not an ability, but even so, Tool Scrapper, an essential card in this list. You don't want to just lose to Garbodor. 3 Ultra Ball, you don't really want 4 because we run 3 copies of Level Ball, but Ultra Ball is nice. It allows us to find those Empoleons and those Dusknoirs that we can't search out with Level Ball. 2 copies of GlitchxCity Gym, as I said earlier. It just increases the poison count. We play 3 copies of N. 3 I found has been great in this list. I ran 4 originally, but I found that I was drawing into them late game once I'd taken a lot of prizes, so I cut that count down to 3, and I added in 1 copy of Professor Juniper. You really don't want to be discarding your hand a lot, because basically everything in this list is useful. And if you have like 1 or 2 cards that you really don't need, you can discard them with Diving Draw. So 1 Juniper is good in this list. It's useful for times like when you have Jirachi is the only card in your hand. You can Jirachi for a Juniper rather than an N or an Oak. We play 4 copies of Professor Oak's New Theory, shuffle our hand into our deck, and then draw 6 cards. It's pretty amazing. 1 copy of Skyla, great in these old lists, just helps us find stuff like Rare Candy, Junk Arm, Tool Scrapper, Silver Bangle, Silver Mirror, anything we need for the matchup we are currently facing. 2 copies of Silver Bangle. The Pokemon this card is attached to, excluding Pokemon EX, do 30 more damage to active Pokemon EX, so it's great for those EX matchups. Add an extra 30. And 1 copy of Silver Mirror for the Plasma decks. We prevent all damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by Team Plasma Pokemon. So very nice for those Plasma matchups. It can help a lot if they've used their Tool Scrapper already. But usually you don't want to play this until the late game. You can get it back with Junk Arm, which is nice. And we only play 6 copies of Water Energy. Even 6 I found has maybe been a little too much because you only need 1 energy to attack. You'll often only be attaching like 3 energy per game, but we play 6 just so it's easier to find them. So this is absolutely such a fun deck. Yes, we want to discard them. We didn't change anything. I love it. I've been playing it quite a bit. I made a couple changes. I originally had Landorus EX and Blend Energy in there. Oh, just a quick shout out to the token minorities in Yellow Swellow. When I was building this list, I really took a hard look at their deck lists and their videos on this list. So I want to thank them for doing that. The deck list is mine. I built it myself, but it was sort of after input from them. Legacy matches can take a little bit to find, but there we go. So looks like we're going up against Ray Eels. So Rayquaza, Electric, there's a Keldeo in there. I played a match against Ray Eels earlier. It went pretty well, I'd say. I think we did lose, but we get a nice hand. The amount of times I've started with Jirachi is fairly insane for just playing 1 of it and playing I don't know how many basics. But yeah, we are going to start with a Piplup. We'll throw a Piplup down on our bench. I guess it doesn't really matter what we do. But we're just probably going to have to N right off the bat, I would assume. Yeah, so we see Ray Eels here. Yeah, I'm just going to N. Hopefully we can maybe get out some level balls, Duskull. There is a level ball, which is nice, and a laser. We got level ball and laser bank. We have no way to discard this. Man. Level ball for Smeargle here. But then I have no way to retreat. I'm going to level ball for Jirachi, just so we have a supporter card for next turn. Yeah, I really think that's the best bet here. I'm going to keep it in my hand just in case my opponent ends me. There's really no need to play it down, but we are going to laser bank here and throw 40 damage down on this Tynamo. We do get the heads for sleep, and of course we're not going to play the execute down on our bench, but he hits the sleep tails, which is painful. But we'll see what my opponent can do here. As the Ray Eels list that I played a while ago had Scoop Up Cyclone, and it was just a really bad matchup because we'd poison them, put them to sleep, but then they just Scoop Up Cyclone and heal all the damage. So we see Keldeo here. Keldeo can rush in, of course, so our poison really isn't doing that much. But again, our objective is to put damage on the board. As we see the Ultra Ball come down. Grabbing out a Zekrom EX. I don't know if I'd play Zekrom EX in this list. We can Junk Arm I think, yeah, Junk Arm's pretty nice. I am going to discard an Empoleon. We play 4, so it's not too big of a deal. Now, what do I want? I could laser here, put another 30 damage on the board, or I could level ball for a Duskull. I think level ball for Duskull is the best play here. Just continue to set up our bench. Do we not have both of our Duskull prized? Oh, that's terrible. Both of the Duskull we play are prized. Oh no. Okay, so what do we do next? We'll grab out our Smeargle. Play that down. Play down the Jirachi. And we're going to search for a Professor Oak here. I'm gonna really stink that I can't use those Duskulls, but something like Rare Candy. What does this do? Glint and Claw does 50 and 80. So we'll throw down the Piplup here. And we'll just end our turn. Leave a bench space for the... we didn't draw an energy, which stinks, so there's no way we could retreat and use our Smeargle. But, yeah. So, like I said, legacy matches can be slow, but they're still an absolute ton of fun, and I love them. It's so nice to play with these old cards that you sort of remember seeing around in the format years ago, but have sort of gone by the wayside now. So, we've got an electric out here. We see a level ball for another electric. There's no way for this Keldeo to retreat unless he has a float stone in before Juniper for a fresh 7. N. Ooh. So if he gets the float stone, that'll be annoying, as maybe we should have evolved the benched. Evolve the, yeah, so you see the energy, he's not able to attack, which is lovely. We can propagation here. Our Empoleon is weak to, we're going to drop the Execute and the Piplup. I really don't see a need for a 4th Empoleon. And we do only have 1 in the deck, so what? 2 of our Empoleon are prized? 2? Man. We are just not doing well. Not doing well. Our catcher's kind of useless here. I can't Super Rod because I'd put back too much. I could computer search for the energy, which would be nice. Or I could computer search for a laser. I think that's probably the best. Yeah, so we're going to computer search away, Execute, and a Dusknoir. Dusknoir is useless for us right now, as much as I'd like to keep it around. Are 2 of our lasers prized too? No. There's no way. There's no way our prizes are 2 Duskull, 2 Empoleon, and 2 lasers. Oh my god. Wow. Well, we need the energy. I could grab a silver bangle, but I feel like we're just going to be... Yeah, so computer searching for energy, that's fairly painful. I do have 3 Pokemon in the discard now that are not my Execute, so I can get back Dusknoir, Empoleon, and Piplup. And we're going to Oaks here. Catcher's pretty useless since they have Keldeo out right now. But we do get to evolve into a Prinplup here, which is kind of what I was going for. And we can draw some cards here with our Empoleon. A silver bangle would be nice, just to add some extra damage. as we just get the Piplup. Again, I don't really want to play that down right now, as we're going to hit this Keldeo for 90, as he really does need a Float Stone. But if he does hit a Float Stone, yeah, he can just come in and... What? He won't knock me out unless he hits the heads, or if he just finds another energy. But we see the Sky Arrow Bridge here, which is kind of nice because it helps out our Smeargle. So here we see the Rayquaza come down, as I would put the energy on this. I wouldn't risk the coin flip. But he does hit the coin flip. I really would not have risked that. Definitely would not have risked that myself, but we are going to put down another Piplup in before something like we portrait a Juniper and we lose all this. I'm going to end here. My opponent already has 5 cards in their hand, but we do not hit. So we're going to portrait, and we can Skyla for an Ultra Ball. That's probably best. Yeah, I really don't want to risk. Yeah, so we are going to Skyla for the Ultra Ball. We're going to Propagation here. And we're going to bring back one of our Empoleons. Only one left in the deck. Man, what a terrible game. But again, we're sort of banking on the coin flip here. Suppose we can draw some more cards. Maybe if we grab a Junk Arm or something for laser, that would be nice. As we just see the Rare Candy and the Level Ball. Just gonna attack command here. We really just have to hope that my opponent does not hit the, see the damage we have on the board here. We got 130 here, 30 here, 90 here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how, my opponent has no energy in the discard, so they couldn't rush in, attach, but if they have one energy in hand, they can just attach and Strong Volt. But yeah, like I said, I really wouldn't be relying on the coin flip here, because if he flips tails, he only does 50. With weakness, that's 100. So yeah, but we'll see. Yeah, so he is just going to attach and Strong Volt, I would assume, and that's going to knock out our last Empoleon. Unless we hit something like, we need a Junk Arm for a Super Rod, pretty much. So we are going to portrait. I believe he has a Skyline hand. Oh, lovely, lovely. This is fantastic when you portrait and you just get a Juniper and you have to discard everything. But we do see the Junk Arm. So we're gonna Propagation here. Man, this is quite the difficult game. We can't really recover from our prizes. We can laser, but I mean, we really have to Super Rod. There's not much I can do. Yeah, it's pointless to laser, but what we can do is we can Scrapper his Float Stone. Super Rod back in. Both of our Empoleons, we have the Piplups, and we'll throw back an energy. Yeah. How many rare candies have we used? Just one. So there's some left in the deck. Yeah. Really not much I can do here. And throw down the bangle, I guess. Yeah, so we'll just end our turn here. That was a rough Juniper. Threw a lot away there. But man. 2 Duskull, 2 Empoleon, 2 Laser. But yeah, he has another float stone, so everything is useless. If we don't top deck something, or I mean, if he knocks out the Smeargle, which I assume he is, then there's nothing we can do. Yeah, so we are just going to concede here. I mean, I could keep the game going for a little longer, make him take all the prizes, but I really, man, I don't want to have you guys go through with me playing that game and just really seeing nothing. So we'll find another match. Hopefully I won't have 2 Duskull and 2 Empoleon prized in the next one. But let's see. So we see Steel. I don't know what this deck could be. There's no Dark, so it can't be Weavile Eggs. As we do lose the coin flip. Could be Virizion Genesect. Steel Jirachi. What would the Psychic be? But Kevo is choosing who goes first. And he defers to us. That's interesting. Not a bad first turn, I have to say. Definitely not bad at all. We'll see what he's got. Honestly, I'd love to just like keep this hand. As yeah, it's Virizion Genesect. So level ball for a Duskull. Man. Well, rare candy next turn, discarding that. Yeah, I think level ball for Duskull is fine right here. Yeah, because we get rare candy into Empoleon next turn, we can diving draw away the execute. So this is a fairly nice hand. And our opponent just forfeits. We'll take that, okay? Wow. One win here. So, man. Sometimes that happens with legacy matchups. You're like, Virizion Genesect, that's a fairly good matchup versus Empoleon Dusknoir. Especially if they play Celebi Prime, which I've ran into a couple. It's Virizion Genesect and Celebi Prime. That's probably the best legacy deck, but you won't see a video on it from me because Celebi Prime is 60 packs per. So that's gonna be. I might do a video just on like regular Virizion Genesect, as Celebi Prime makes it better, but not that much better. Of course, if cost is no object, you can throw in a couple Celebi Primes there and really go off. But yeah. But yeah, there are a ton of legacy decks that I want to do. Ray Eels, that's really interesting. It looks like we've got another Ray Eels matchup here. So that'll be interesting. What else is nice? TDK, Thundurus, Deoxys, Kyurem, the Plasma build. That's what I'm working on next. So the next legacy video is going to be TDK, I think. So that'll be fun. So my opponent is going to go first, I assume. Unlike the last one, who kind of just tapped out. But we will see. Ugh. Hate it. Hate it. Why? Like, we play 3 cards we don't want to start with. And, like, I don't know how many that we do. Smeargle, the 2 Duskulls, the 4 Piplups. Man. So it's what, 7-3, I think? We do play, there are a lot of Pokemon in this list, but on the field is the worst place for your execute because they're 30 HP and, like, my opponent's going first, so, like, if they play Laser Bank, we just lose. But Rails usually doesn't play that. Love the full art Rayquaza. Yeah, so we see Sky Arrow Bridge. That's kind of nice. Gives us free retreat. Yeah, so we do have an okay hand. Skyla here can get us something. Level Ball for Jirachi is also an option. If I had 2 level balls, that would be lovely. You see the Fire Energy come down onto the Rayquaza. But yeah, lists that play Keldeo EX are kind of annoying because they somewhat invalidate your lasers. I could just level ball. We're going to grab out a Piplup here. Let's take a look at our prizes so we're not surprised. 1 Duskull is prized. Jirachi is there. Smeargle's there. 1 Dusknoir is prized. 1 Empoleon is prized. 1 Junk Arm is prized. 1 Verbank is prized. And 1 Energy is prized. So nothing too ridiculous. Just have to remember that we don't have a lot of we don't have a lot of our Dusknoir line. That's what I'm looking about. That's what the word I'm looking for. I really don't mind if our execute gets knocked out. It's gonna force him to do something, so really not much I can what I can do here is Skyla for... What do I want to Skyla for? I'm probably going to Skyla for the Level Ball, which gives us the option of our Jirachi for next turn. I don't really want to Skyla for a supporter because depending on what my opponent does. Yeah, so we're going to Laser here. Poison our opponent, hopefully put them to sleep, unfortunately not. Yeah, so that's fine for now. We're going to put some damage on this. Skyling for the Level Ball is also nice if we draw a supporter off of the top deck, as Level Ball can now get out of Pokemon. So, that's why I did that. As Level Ball in this list just gives you so many options, so it's really nice. I could see you bumping up to 4 copies of it, just it would be helpful, but in the late game maybe not so much. Yeah. So we see an energy attached here, probably going to mean that this egg gets knocked out, but again, like, that's not a big problem. He takes a prize, but it now puts an egg in the discard pile, which is where we really want it. We see a Junk Arm, probably gonna, well, the only thing left to grab is a Level Ball, so. Seeker. Oh, why wouldn't you play Seeker? You had Seeker for game. You could have won. You could have won. Yeah, because he Seekers. He throws back this, I throw back this, he Dragon Bursts for game. Wow. Going to Celestial Roar. And he hits 2 energy. Wow. That's ridiculous. We draw the Rare Candy off of the top deck. Yeah, so he's not going to... So yeah, we're going to grab a Jirachi here. Man. Celestial Roar hitting 2 energy, that's pretty insane. We're going to grab the Oak here. I don't know what my opponent has in their hand. Yeah, no need to junk arm. That's nice. We hit Rare Candy, Empoleon. We can diving draw here. What can we junk arm? Yeah, we can junk arm for a level ball to bring out our Duskull. Drop the Silver Mirror. So we can grab a Duskull here. Oh, thank you. So yeah, we're gonna grab a Duskull here. I really don't want to throw out this Empoleon because I'm gonna make my opponent take some poison damage. Before they do that, we'll throw down this energy and throw out a heart to my opponent. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna make my opponent attack to discard all this energy, unless they play catcher. There's no Lysander in this format, so your benched Pokemon are pretty safe most of the time. Ray Eels, I don't think it normally plays any more than one catcher. So my opponent's gonna have to attack to knock out this this Execute, and if they don't, then they just keep racking up poison damage. Hopefully I'll find a Verbank soon, as yeah, they just don't attack, which is completely fine by me. I don't really want to Ultra Ball for anything. I'm just going to Oak here. I think that's perfectly fine if TCGO will process it. Come on. Come on, TCGO. There we go. Yeah, so we do get the Verbank here, which is lovely, as that will have him take more poison damage. We're going to Propagation here and do our diving draw, getting rid of this egg, as we see the junk arm. He can get a Dusknoir out this turn, but I think honestly I'm just gonna level ball for and evolve it because I don't really want to use my junk arm. Yeah, so we'll grab out the Dusclops. If again TCG will process. Getting a little slow here. Hopefully it's not. Yeah. Hopefully TCGO doesn't fail here, but yeah, I'm totally fine with this right here. I'm just gonna end our turn. More poison damage onto this Rayquaza. Not enough to knock out this benched Electric, but Keldeo can rush in here. But again, we'll just poison that. He can't rush in from the bench. He can't rush in from the active. But yeah, he kind of seems like he has a dead hand here, so I mean, he's gonna have to use a big attack to knock out this Execute. So he's I would have just attacked. Yeah, as we see the switch, which is good, I guess. And yeah, he's now finally going to attack. And he's going to discard the fire, which hopefully we're going to be able to grab a knockout this turn. Yeah, lovely. Silver Bangle. What are we doing? So we're doing 60, 90, and we're doing 90. I want a laser to guarantee it before I can little propagation here, and then we will diving draw. We'll get rid of our egg. As we draw a Piplup, which is lovely, we can throw that down as really want to start getting another Empoleon set up. I could Junk Arm. I mean, I don't really see the need to. We'll get a Dusknoir out. And what's nice, yeah, so we can get a Dusknoir out here, and we can do some math and make sure that this Rayquaza goes down exactly. So we'll grab that Dusknoir here. So let's do some math. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 70 damage, plus this is 100. So plus 3, that will knock it out. So we want to move 3 damage counters. Let's put him on the Keldeo right now. One, 2, and 3. So let's double check our math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 70 damage with attack command. Plus 30 from Silver Bangle is 100. That's 140. Plus 30 from Poison. 170. Attack command. 100. 140, 30, 170. Lovely. 2 prizes. So that's what Empoleon Dusknoir is supposed to do. There we go. We got the Junk Arm off of the top deck, so we get all of this energy off of this Rayquaza. And now the Keldeo is in the active. Another Rayquaza comes down. We see the fire energy. They can Dynamotor onto it. But unless they have another Float Stone and their hand's been dead so far, they see Skyla. So they can Skyla for the Float Stone. But then again, they're only doing 60. And I might just Junk Arm for Laser, hit this again, hit this for 100 damage. Yeah, I mean, Keldeo can. To be honest, I'd Skyla for a supporter. I would. Because there's got to be. Yeah, so they're gonna Skyla for the N here. Definitely understandable. Let's see, what can we do? I want to get out another Empoleon. So I want to get out another Empoleon. How many lasers? We've used 2 lasers, so it's probably more likely. So I should Junk Arm for laser. Just because I want to get more damage on the field. As actually, do we have enough to KO this? I don't think so. If we put one more Pokemon down, I think we do have enough with a laser to KO this. So we're going to grab our laser. We're going to use our laser. We also get the Sleep Flip, which is nice. We're going to Diving Draw now. So games with Empoleon Dusknoir can be fairly long, just because you're clicking all the time. But yeah, so there's our Pokemon, which is lovely. And yeah, now we're just going to Oak. Hopefully we get Rare Candy Empoleon right here. As we get Bangle, Smeargle. We do see another laser, which is nice. Yeah, we'll just fill up the bench. Can I put 10 damage somewhere? What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're doing 90 plus 30, that's 120. 120 plus 30 is 150. Yeah, so I can put 10 damage somewhere. We'll throw it on this. Yeah, so attack command should pick up the knockout here. 120 140 plus 30, 170, knockout, 2 prizes. So exactly what Empoleon Dusknoir is supposed to be doing, hitting the knockout every single turn. How many junk arms have we used? 2, so there's 1 left in our deck. And knocking this out is really nice because my opponent now needs 2 energy. We're going to get End here. And I don't know why he attached the Violate. But yeah, so we're going to get End. That was inevitable from the get-go. But you do see the Prinplup, which isn't terrible. That's not bad at all. I don't think he'll be able to knock us out this turn. We've got the Smeargle to use a supporter. So once we do get knocked out, even if we don't draw a supporter, we are fairly good. So we see the Zekrom come out here. We're ahead in the prize game, of course, but Dynamotor onto that. I would attach the Violite here, but we're gonna see Dragon Burst for 60 damage. And having that diving draw really helps you out versus N. So we're going to bring that execute back. Diving draw. Probably should have done that before evolving just if I hit into something. Yeah, sure, I'll Juniper here. We got more than enough cards in the deck. Our bench is full. And we can Rare Candy into Empoleon here. How many lasers have we played? 2? I think one of our lasers was prized. I believe it was. Can't hurt to diving draw again. So we'll do that. Yeah, I'm fine with this right here. I'm just going to attack command. Do 130 to this. Does put it in range of a laser. So if we could have found one, but I mean, computer search, junk arm, laser. Could have won the game, maybe. But I do believe one of our lasers was prized. Who knows? But we see the Floatstone come down here. We do have Catcher, and our opponent Oaked, so there's no way they can end us again. So we should be fairly good to win next turn, I would believe, if our Catcher hits heads. Yeah, if our Catcher hits heads, we've got game. But yeah, we're fairly well in command of the game here. No pun intended. But yeah, he's gonna have to, Bolt Strike. He can Bolt Strike for knockout. Yeah. That's gonna have to be his play here. But if our Catcher hits heads, computer search, junk arm, Catcher, we have a lot of ways that we can win this game. So we'll see if we can do it. Catcher, 50%. Tails. How many junk arms have we used? 2? Let's see if one's back in the deck. Propagation yet again. This is why everything is so good. We can computer search. Yeah, so we did have the laser, so we could have lasered and then done some shenanigans. But yeah, we like using these executes so much per turn. Like, this is, eggs really make this deck work. That's why Originally I played 1 in this list. 2 is just essential. So we'll Junk Arm. We need that heads on the catcher. Let's hope that we can hit it. No! We miss it. Man. We knock this out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Man. That's so annoying that he hit double. I don't really want a diving draw. We're fine. I don't know what... Yeah, this gets knocked out anyways. Yeah. So attack command will knock this out. So... grab the water energy, so we weren't able to win this turn. Oversight of the Junk Arm for a computer search for laser for game on this. That was a bad play by me, but everyone's going to misplay at some point. I know my fans absolutely love pointing out every single misplay I make. Even if it's like, oh my god, I got this comment once that was like, really shouldn't have thrown away a super rod like back on turn 1 because you needed it at the end of the game. Like, man, that's hilarious. Yeah, so really not much my opponent can do here. I mean, they can knock this out, but I've got another Empoleon ready to go. Even if they find a float stone, a switch, something to knock this out. Victini X is weak to water. They'd have to throw out something that's, yeah, so I think they're just sort of setting up here right now. Yeah, so we did get unlucky. 25% chance that none of those coin flips would have hit tails, but we're going to say well played to my opponent, as this was a great game, and we're just going to attack command for the knockout here. 100 damage. No need to do anything, and that is going to be the game. So we did get 2 wins and 1 loss. If you don't think I'm counting that forfeit as a win, then you don't know me. But when we get a locked pack of Guardians Rising with that win, so we'll go open that just before, just for the video end here. Ooh, and we get a completed trade as well. What did we get? A Curum, lovely. So, TDK coming up in the next Legacy video. Yeah, so we will open up one of our locked packs here, and secret rare DCE. That would be lovely. That would be fantastic. But my Guardians Rising pack luck has been so terrible. I don't know how many I've opened up. We do get a Honchkrow, which is nice. Honchkrow, very nice. I like that. That could be useful in a deck sometime. So, there we go. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.